Hey YouTube, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles, and today we're going to be talking about, honestly, some things that aren't too difficult, but for some reason in the world, I can't make them. And that happens. I'll show you one thing too that I struggled to make, which is so simple, but we finally made it, and at least we got a really awesome example that I have to sell. But I don't have to, but I'm going to. So these are not going to be like outlandish, crazy 8-gene animals, because to say, well, I didn't ever make this 17 combo. Okay, these are some simple combos. One of them's a little less simple. That just have eluded us for whatever reason. So we're going to tell you what we're doing to make them, to get that job done that we're wanting to get done. And then we're going to go to Patreon and tell you why finishing this is important to us, even though it's really not that important to the business. From a business standpoint, whether I finish one of these projects, especially one of them, the first one I talked about, is pretty pointless. It really is. But again, I'm half business, half passion, right? So sometimes we do stuff because we're passionate about it. First, let me start with the snake that eluded me forever that I finally made. To kind of show you what we're working on here. Where are you? Are you the one I want to show? You're a cool one, but you're not my favorite. You are. You are awesome. Come here, little one. So these, yeah, that's the tub I took you out of, eluded me forever, and we struggled. We made calibis, we made all kinds of stuff, but we just really couldn't make pastel calicos. It seemed like it was just damn near impossible, a little bit of white crap on you there, to make these snakes. Well, this year I've got a whole bunch of them. I'm swimming in them. This is not the first year I made them. I think we produced them last year, and we were going to hold one back. We only produced like one after all this time, and it was male, and I needed a female. Well, I kept a super pastel calico het exanthic, so I am good, y'all. But making these pastel calicos, and I do believe this one's het exanthic as well, just for whatever reason, this simple 2-gene combo, we'd miss on it. Man, it was swing and a miss, swing and a miss, swing and a miss. It was ridiculous how often we missed. But when we finally did start hitting them with regularity, I want to show you. Because there's hitting a combo, and then there's making the best example of the combo you'll ever see. Look at the tail on that thing. Of course, you're going to try to hide from it. I'll spin you around this way. Just the amount of white coming up. This is, to me, the perfect pastel calico. It doesn't get any better than this. If I was going to hold one of these back straight up, this is the one I'm holding. If I wanted one just to have for an example, there's no doubt in my mind which one I pick. That's why I pick her on camera to show. Well, I got her here right now. But she will be being made available on, she or he, I don't even remember, on our Patreon first. And I guarantee you, this is one of those snakes, when I make it available, I ain't going to make it off. So if you're not a member, you probably should be. It's mean, though. So you have to be okay with a mean snake. But it ain't smart. Haha, sucker. So we go ahead and put this one back. And now I'm going to show you some combos we've never made that we want to make. Come on, little one. That one is a female, for the record. And isn't she beautiful? Now, this is one that we wanted to make early on. Right here. I own one. I just didn't produce it. So this is a Mystic Potion right here. Get that colic dirt off you. It's been breeding, so I just pulled out the breed thing, so cleaned it off a little bit. And when they breed too, man, these snakes get somewhat dirty when they breed. In my experience, when they're trying to breed, they tend to crap and do all kinds of other stuff. So we do get some extra flies and things like that during breed season. And this one's a digger, so it gets a coconut all over it. So I wanted to clean it up a little bit so you can kind of see how well that thing looks. Just a beautiful, beautiful snake. You can see why we wanted to make them. They do carry a decent value to them still today. Nothing too crazy. For anybody who asks, that spot we're cleaning off, I'll show you. Just dirt. I was like, oh, that black speck you took off, was that a mite? Nope, just dirt. And when we use the coconut, you do get that. That's one not. You can see he's wagging his tail. He's looking for a girl right now. So why didn't we ever produce one of these? Well, we put this to a Mojave. This is a simple 2-gene allelic combo. So it's a Mystic Mojave, makes a Mystic Potion. You can also do one using the one that's the same as Mystic, which name escapes me right now. It has a little bit of a different name, but it's the same exact thing you're playing with. And you get this combo. Kind of like, you know, it's beautiful. It doesn't look like you'd expect. It is kind of part of the Bell complex, even though it's not all white. I shouldn't say kind of. It is part of the Bell complex, even though it's not an all-white snake. What that means is your Mystic is going to be allelic with anything in that Bell complex. But this is how you get this kind of combo. So the first time we did it, we got nothing, right, but Mystics and Mojaves. We didn't hit a single combo snake. How crazy was that? I mean, it was kind of a bummer deal. You know, he's going to pass on Mystic and Mojave, Mystic or Mojave to everything. The female is going to pass on Mojave to half the stuff. And the way it worked out, we never hit the 2 gene, I do not believe, if memory serves. And then we did it again. No, we didn't. We bred, trying to remember how I did it. Then the last time we tried to make something like that, all we got were some super Mojaves. We didn't get any super mystics. Now, obviously, the steak is definitely a mystic potion. It's not a super Mojave. The pattern tells you all you need to know on that. So what we decided to do is we held back, because I got tired of missing, and telling a mystic and a Mojave as a baby is not always easy, and for me, the way my eyeball works, it's not the easiest thing for me to tell apart. So we're selling as what we think it is and saying it could be this one, and I just don't like doing that. So we decided to hold back a super Mojave female. So a Bell female is Mojave. I don't like the super Mojaves as well as I did say the super lessers for my Bells, because the super Mojaves aren't as white as a super lesser. They're kind of gray when you look at them, a little bit of a yellowish to them. The head turns gray, kind of like this, but they're not as white or bright white as, say, a super lesser or a super Russo is. I like the super lessers. They're my fave. So I kept one back anyway for the sole purpose of breeding this male too. So now what we're doing is pairing him to our super Mojave. So this is the first time, if she goes this year, and she may or may not, if she doesn't go this year, she probably will next year for certain, just because it was her first rodeo, we will definitely get mystic potions. How? He's going to pass on mystic or Mojave. She'll pass on Mojave to everything. So basically half the clutch should be mystic potion. The chance of us missing on mystic potions would be really, really low. So we are going to rectify that situation right there. All right, dude, get back in. Go on. Go on. Go on. Got 2 more to show you. This other one is, we get a little bit of a pass on these other 2 for not being able to make a simple combo because they are double recessive, making them much, much harder to create. Now these guys aren't breeding. This female, she did appear to ovulate the other day. I went in through the male to her one more time. You can see she's still, well, you can see there's probably no need. She didn't eat, and she's still swollen, so we're definitely in the throes of ovulation. I talked about they get dirty when they breed. The male's wanting to breed, so he has pooped all over her. Kind of gross. Not how I pick up chicks, dude, but you do you, whatever, right? So what are we looking at here? Well, this is our super dark normal. We haven't been able to prove out this dark. I don't think we will. It's really cool. It's kind of a fun little dinker, but if I'm being honest, I do know other people produce some really dark animals like this, including like Ralph Davis, and it never proved out to be genetic. I imagine we are in the same boat on that. No big deal. What else we know it is definitely het for true ghost, which is hypomelanistic and exanthic, SK line in this case. So why is that important? Well, because the male we're using is also het true ghost. So we're trying to make true ghost. Male's a spider het true ghost. Now, we have made this pairing a couple times. She produced for me 1 year, and I made both those snakes. They are siblings. They were made from unrelated parents, bred, kept 2 siblings back, using a ghost and an exanthic, Manaya being the mother, and Hades, my spider exanthic, being the father. That means that 2013 is definitely wrong. So I didn't even own Hades then. Made an error on my thing. Whew. So anywho, with doing that, I know they're both 100% double het because that ghost had never been bred when we bought her. So it can't be retained sperm. We're 100% certain of what we got going on. When we produced them, we produced exanthics as well. I don't think we produced a ghost out of it, which is odd, but since mom's a visual ghost, again, there's no doubt there. And then she hasn't produced for me since. So she's going to produce this year, it looks like. You just saw the signs. So we're going to hope to finally hit that true ghost. Being a het-to-het pairing, you got pretty long odds on that. So to have us miss that is not crazy unheard of, but we definitely want to produce that. Don't really care if the spider's there. If it is, cool. If it ain't cool, don't matter. But let's get to another one that I do care about the spider on, because I want the spider in this one. And that is this little snake right here. Now, this is another one we've tried multiple times. I want to say we've made this pairing maybe 3 times, I believe, and produced. And what we're trying to do is we're pairing 2 double hets. It's a double het albino exanthic, also being paired to an albino exanthic double het spider. and what we're trying to produce is a snow spider. So what we have here you're looking at is this is a male snow. We have held him, we're growing him up. He was kind of a little bitty snake, slow grower. He isn't ready this year. He will be next year to also use if we need to, because the female in this case is the one with the spider. So by next year, I'm going to be putting him to his mother instead of the male I use to ensure that I have a higher chance of getting that, since I'm using a visual axanthic and a visual albino, meaning every baby that comes out of there would be, well, not every baby, everybody would be het for something, right? Or het for both of them, because it's going to pass both of them on an allelic thing. And then half of them should get one from the mom, at least, or 2/3. We'll have, I'd have to run the numbers, to be honest. It's kind of crazy on that. But we'll have a lot higher odds of getting our snow spider we're after. Again, when you're trying to do these double recessive projects, the odds are long. Then you're trying to mix in an incomplete dominance even longer. So in 3 clutches, I believe we've got 1 snow. We've had axanthics, we've had albinos, we've had spider albinos, we had spider axanthics, but we've only ever hit the double recessive 1 time. So we're working towards that too. We do have another shot this year. We are pairing them. Hopefully she's going to go. She hadn't ovulated yet. That first one I showed you was the first one to ovulate this season for us, or to go into that kind of ovulation. Kurt, any questions about these combos that so far we haven't been able to make?
What are the odds of hitting it if you're doing a double recessive to double recessive?
Like visual to visual or head to head?
Het.
So let me think here. So I got to run the numbers in my head. I don't have a computer in front of me.
It's either like 1 in 16 or 1 in 32.
Something like that, because you'd have a het to het pairing. You'd have a 1 in 4, right? So then when you're running a double het to double het, the odds what you would possibly have is a 1 in 4 of it being visual for one, a 1 in 4 of it being visual for the other, and there's some multiplication there. So it gets pretty long. I want to say it is 1 in 16, but I'd actually have to look at that on the screen and kind of think about it a little longer than I can do with the camera running. But you are looking at very long odds. So we're probably not far off the odds, only producing 1. So I want to say she's probably done maybe 20 eggs for us over the years, maybe 24. So we're not too far off. We are due to hit another one for sure. And unfortunately, this one is male, but actually the male works out for the project, so it's okay. We don't tend to hold back many males. When you've been trying to make a snow and you're 5-6 years into a project, and this is the first one you get, you keep it, right? You don't mess around. You keep that snow. At least I do, right? Well, guy, whoa, don't have to hide from me.
So can you go over the process of this project? Like, so you bought...
Yep, still dirt.
You bought them, and then you made the hets.
How I made this project here? So it's really simple. We started with a visual albino female that I bought when it was an opportunity that came up. She was almost breed ready, not quite there, but would be there within about 6 months. Somebody needed to get rid of her, so they did. You know, a little piece of coconut on your nose, you dork. Can I get that off for you? Yeah, I did. Thank you. And then we already had an axanthic spider male. And that was the only visual axanthic male I had at the time who was an adult. So we paired those 2 up, and they had offspring for us, which happened in, I can probably tell you, if you give me just a second, 2015. So in 2015, I had those babies. And so then we raised them up until, I think it was 3 years for the female. So maybe in 18, and we were able to breed them. And so then you're breeding those babies back. So like basically, if you start with babies, you make your hets, you're looking at 3 years, usually raise your female, plus your first year breeding. I mean, you're going to be 6 years if you start with babies. 3 years to raise your additional mom, 3 years to raise the next set. Now we got to cheat that a little bit, which is great. So it does take a very long time to get even a shot. Now, if you're starting with visuals, if you really want to get into a recessive project, double recessives, and you have the funding to start one, which I did not when we started this. We had to start it on the low cost, like way, right? I would probably start with trying to find a visual albino het and then a visual axanthic het and going that way. So then I'd have my odds increased. But that's how we did it. And it's just kind of a labor of love now to know we can put this much time and patience into something. And of course, I guess I should mention you breed those babies together. That should go without saying when they're adults. Anything else, Kurt?
No.
All right, guys. Some people probably look at that and be like, well, is it just an albino? And If I can get this thing to stay here, I'll show you some of the differences. Now, some people aren't going to like snows. I get it. I do. I want to find something that's about equal size. So give me just a second here. Nope, not you. You're not an albino. You are. This one's got coconut all over too. This one's a little smaller. When you start dealing with the snow, a couple things are going to happen. One, the color is vastly different. So here's a nice high contrast albino. That's what you want for an albino. I do anyway. That nice bright orange. Here, that should all be faded out a ton. The other thing is the eyes. Here, look at the eyes. And the eyes will be a little bit different. No, not a ton, but you can kind of see they're a little bit more pinkish on there in the pupil than these guys are. But mostly you're going to see that color fade. Now, well, snowballs aren't as popular as they once were. The lavender snows tend to be. So if you were going to start this project today too, you might consider going with a lavender line of albino, which is not compatible with straight albino. But the lavender snows tend to be a little more popular than the regular snows. Now, for full disclosure, ours is a regular snow. This is not lavender albino. I actually don't have any lavender albino. We went with Tofino. We didn't really need to go past that. So that's kind of the visual difference. So you can decide if you like them or not. I think on camera, in pictures, snows don't do themselves justice because it looks like it's just a washed out, faded albino. But in person, these things are, they're really pretty in person. They're really a gorgeous animal. You kind of almost have to see them live. Kurt, anything else you want to add?
Nope.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll start putting my balls away, and I'll see you next week.